In this 3-tip Friday, we talk to you about all things barbell, the squat, bench, deadlift, get over the myths and where you need to be starting when you're working with the barbell. So the first thing is first, when it comes to working with the barbell, you need to understand that you need some basic movement patterns. You need to go through some basic kind of screening tests of an overhead squat, of an air squat. If you want to know how to perfect a screening test, then this is what you need to do. This is a screening test, the most simple screening test that you can do. So first things first, all you need is a wall. You don't need a stick, you don't need anything. But second thing is that you do need to interlock your fingers and don't let go. What you want to do is come over to the wall, okay? Make sure that you're roughly no more than, say, 1 foot away, so the length of your foot away from the wall, okay? Then you're going to get your shoulder stance, your foot just past shoulder width stance, inside of your foot, outside of your shoulder, and you're going to face the wall. The next thing that you want to do is from here is interlock your fingers and put them at the back of your head. Then from here you're going to squat down to the wall without headbutting the wall. Elbows back, shoulder blades pinned, squat down as low as you can go, and then come back up. You're looking for roughly parallel, but some of the key elements that you see is people headbutting the wall. When they're going down, they're falling backwards, and that's a quick screen, a quick indication that you need to maybe break down your squat and work maybe an upper back work or hamstring work or maybe some kind of mobility or ankle work. Whatever it is, if your squat looks like that, then you're good to go to move on to a back squat. So that's a very quick screening test before you go in to lift any weights, like a barbell back squat or a deadlift. If you can do that, you're usually fine. So that's our basic screening test that we use when our clients walk in the door. If we're looking for something to work with a group of athletes, say if we're working with a group of 30 people, we want to pick out the red flags. That test that we just did there, the squat while facing 1 foot away from the wall, is a key element. If you can pass that, fine. If not, you may need some coaching how to correct those points. Now we're going to move on to barbell back squat and the deadlift and the bench press, and also we might touch off the strict press a little bit. What this guide is and what these points are and some of the key elements that we see going wrong with people's squats. So let's get into it, starting off with the barbell back squat. So the first element we have is the barbell back squat. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put 3 minutes onto the clock and give you as much information in 3 minutes as possible to perfect the back squat. So first things first, we've talked to the movement screening and we've ticked the box and moved just fine against the wall. Second thing is when approaching the barbell, what do you actually need to remember? So we're going to do a simple silent demonstration, as we call it, first, and then I'm going to explain more to you. So that's your silent demonstration of your back squat. So to talk you through it, the first thing is, we've 1 minute gone, is that when you approach the barbell, you want to make sure you have the shoulder range of motion. You want to make sure you have the mobility in your shoulders to grip the barbell. So meaning what most people do is they grip just past shoulder width apart because that's where you're holding the bar. So I like to measure my hands, start with the knurling here, thumb length, and then I'm looking at the center of the bar. When I go under, I'm making sure that I'm going under with my shoulder blades squeezed together really, really hard. So it creates that ledge here with my traps across my back. If you find that it's hurting your neck and you need to use a pad, you need to develop your traps first, meaning you need to develop these muscles, doing something basic like a shrug or some chin-ups to develop the lats and develop that musculature up in your upper back. That is a key element. If you don't do that, it's usually a good indication that you might not even have the upper back strength to hold that barbell and hold that position while in the squat. So make sure you have those upper traps first. So that's the first thing. Then we go underneath the barbell and bring our feet. The middle of my foot here now is pretty much underneath the bar. Some powerlifters might tell you something a little bit different. Sometimes I've seen them unracking with a little bit of a good morning, but in the element of most of us who are going to squat is we're going feet, center, underneath the bar, okay? From here, when I stand up, one of the main things that I see with clients is that their glutes are loose, okay? You need to stand up with intent, squeezing your glutes and engaging your core. One step back only, toes pointed at 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. So if I turn around and face you, do not do this in the gym. But if I turn around and face you, my toes are pointed at 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. That's the direction that your knees go. Anybody says anything else, they're literally wrong, because you look at a baby squatting, then they're going to drive their knees out, they're going to be sitting into that squat position. It's very natural. Knees driven out. I'm going to take a breath into my stomach. Imagine that you're in all the air and you're pushing your stomach down and out. From here, you're creating that little bit of a belly, you're pushing out against that weightlifting belt. That's what the weightlifting belt is there for. You brace, push out. Then from here, your knees and hips move at the exact same time. It's not the case that knees or hips move first. They move at the exact same time, and you time it, going down with good tempo for 3 to 4 seconds down to the bottom. Once you hit the bottom, you're coming straight back up. That's 3 minutes gone. One key element that you need to do is tempo squats. 10 seconds down, 10 seconds up. If you warm up, you will iron out any creases you ever had. So that means unrack the barbell, and for 10 seconds, 1 Mississippi. 2 Mississippi. You're going down for 10 seconds. That's going to allow you to feel where your body is positioning, where your body is shifting, what you're loading correctly, what you're not loading. And as you're coming up, what's contracting and what's not contracting. Quads right now are on fire for me, so I know that's a little bit of a weakness. Hamstrings are now kicking in a little bit, but I know for me they're much stronger than my quads. Glutes as well kicking in and holding that position, keeping that balance, putting the weight through the heel, then through the center of my foot. That's your back squat. There's some key elements on it. Make sure you use it. So the next one is we're moving on to your deadlift. But I want to touch off something very simple and very straightforward when we're talking about your deadlift. I don't want to put the bar down on the ground, weights on it and pull it from the floor. For you to master your deadlift, you need to master a straight leg deadlift, or what else is known as a Romanian deadlift. Again, coming back to upper back tension. What you see a lot with people pulling off the floor is hips pop up and back then rounds. Couple of elements what that could be, but the main element being like core strength, basic hollow hold, deep core strength. Can they do that? Also hip flexor tightness, quad tightness. If you want to eliminate any chance you hurt in your back, is make sure for 2 8-week blocks per year, 6 weeks blocks per year, you're doing Romanian deadlifts. How do they look? Okay, have the rack set up roughly this height. Let me just do that real quick. So have the rack set up yay high. Whoa. Or maybe you should just do it evenly. So have the rack set up thigh high. From here, what you're going to do is when you go to grip the bar, is your shoulder blades are pinned back together. The center of my foot here is underneath the center of the bar at this height. Chest up, upper back engage, breathing into my core. I should be able to punch you in the stomach, and that's nice and tight, all tight around the trunk, and then lifting off, but bring your hips through. One step back, feet here are hip width apart. On your squat, your feet are hip width apart. Here, they're not past shoulder width apart. Sorry, on your squat, your feet are shoulder width apart. Deadlift or RDLs, hip width apart. From here, what we want to do then is soft knees, slight bend of knees, and you're using your lats to pull the bar in. That as well is a key element why people round the backs when they squat, because they don't have the lat strength to keep the bar in as they go down. In. Slide it down your legs. Feel the hamstring feel the hamstrings tense up. Then keeping your chest up, shoulder blades engaged. You're going to drag that bar back up the thighs, squeezing the glutes. Big breath in. 3, 2, 1. Pause. Chest is out. Shoulder blades really tight. Drag back in. If you feel that in your lower back, keep an eye on the mirror. But also you're probably not breathing properly. That's another video entirely about deep core breathing and engaging your pelvic floor. Upper back as well, if it's rounding, if you can't keep that shoulder back in its socket, you need to do a lot more things like straight arm pull downs, lat pull downs. You also maybe need to do some dumbbell bent over single arm row and a lot more upper back work and get those scapulas pinned back. That's your Romanian deadlift that leads to a perfect deadlift. Right, finally, we're going to move on to the bench press, so let's get that set up real quickly. So first things first, when you're setting up your bench press, you want it in between belly button and pelvic floor height. And the top of your pelvis, roughly that height. Here it's a little bit low for me, so what I'm going to do is going to put up one more. So there we go, a little bit better. Some of the benches are different heights, so consider that. So first things first is when you lie underneath the bar, your eyes need to be directly underneath the barbell. Grip width, close grip is anything shoulder width The normal grip, hands at just outside shoulder width. If you want a guide, basically just think about the inside of your elbow here being in line roughly 3 to 4 inches outside here. So middle of your elbow, roughly 3 to 4 inches here. Whatever is comfortable. Once you're able to keep the elbow slightly in at 45 degrees. So when you lie down and you come down, your elbows should be able to kept in here. That's usually the width of your grip. Might be some more accurate explanations on that. Okay. So first things first is make sure that you have your barbell set up, and when you lie back, your eyes underneath the barbell. Second thing is your grip width. Make sure that your grip width allows you to have your elbows tucked in when you're at the bottom of your bench press. Make sure as well, some key elements is like the tension you're putting through the bar. You want to make sure that when you're bench pressing, you're snapping the barbell, you're crushing it like a can, and you're squeezing your shoulder blades together. That way you're going to get all the power from your lower body to transition through your upper body and into your arms through the bar. The reason as well you snap it is because there's tension. All the muscles are tense. You've recruited all those motor units, and you're ready to fire. So when you grip the barbell, you have that power. Keep it close to the heel of your hand as well. So if I lie down and just do a few demonstrations. So lying underneath the barbell, I like to make sure just use the rack to adjust myself. Eyes are directly under. From here, my shoulder blades are together, touching each other. Slight arch in the back is fine. Make sure the top of your thigh is in line with your body. We don't want it up here, but we don't want it way down here, okay? So making sure that when you push your feet into the body, into the floor, that you can feel yourself pushing your upper back into the bench. So when I push my feet this way into the floor and there's some weight in my hands, I can feel my upper back pin to the bench. So next thing here, measure your hands, your normal grip, get as close to the heel of your hand as possible, eyes underneath, and then unrack. From here, I'm going to snap the bar and then crush it like a can. Shoulder blades are also squeezed. You'll see that my chest then comes up, decreases the distance. I'm going to come down for 3, 2, 1, touch, punch back up. Last thing you need to know about the bench press is your benching angle. When you're lying on your back, it's not straight like this. It's an upside down J, like a plane taking off. So if you have someone spotting you and you feel yourself getting stuck halfway up, make sure you edge it back a little bit, and that will help the bar to continue moving. Never push this way. It's slightly here, up back towards your face. You imagine you start here, around your eye level, you're going to come down to chest. So why would you try to come up like this? Down and back the way you came. That's your barbell bench press. There we go. So there you go, guys. That's squat, bench, deadlift. If you need any more tips from our 3-Tip Friday, just send in some questions directly to our page, and then we'll put them in next week. But now we've covered the barbell, some of the basics. We won't go into too much more detail on them because they're just basic lifts done well. Make sure you have the foundation set to be able to do those exercises correctly. And if it looks poor, if it looks crap, it more than likely is crap. So make sure you get some coaching from somebody close to you. Squat, bench, deadlift. Enjoy the video, guys, and enjoy your weekend.